like I really don't belong. I can't explain it. When I close my eyes, I see a strange reality. Am I dreaming, or on the edge of remembering? You wake up feeling like you really don't belong. You can't explain it, but when you close your eyes you see familiarity. Are you dreaming, or on the edge of remembering? Okay, we are live again. This time the song should have recorded. So let's see. Where's my little chat? So hello. And we put some pretty colors on the screen. Look at that. 333. You know what? That is funny because all day it's been the triple number thing. 111, 222, now 333. Okay, so this is how much we got of the sesame candy. Fill the little bucket. Now, I'll use both ends. We'll do this one and I'll show you up here. There's the back of it, nice and shiny, where a very, very thin layer of maple syrup is holding everything together. And that's the front of it, which has more of the granola-like texture. It's pretty, and if you didn't catch it, What would that do? Go over my shoulder like, for good luck. Oop, wrong one. So crunchy. All right. I managed to leave the lid in the other room. Rush, rush, rush. I'll be right back. If I knew how easy it was to make this as a child, I might have ended up as a candy maker. I would have just been making this myself instead of waiting for the chance to find the candy I liked so much. Like, yeah, and it's good for you. Okay, I munch, you watch. Wait a minute. Hey, we're not using you right now. Oh, wait a second. That's acrylic, isn't it? Yep. Wrong paint there. Oh, it's okay. Let's get that out of the way. like this purple, but it's got a lot of mica in it. Release a little bit of that. Yep, a lot of mica. Uh-oh. Oh, you have to dry. And then you have to dry. Okay. Oh, that's more like it. More likely to find that green in nature than the other. Mm. Mm-mm. Oh no, there's still too much gold in it. Hmm. There we go. I thought there was another one here. Yeah, it's got a little gold, but not too much. Oh, yep, there, the gold came right to the top. Actually, it's a cool look. I don't know if you can see in this light anymore, but that gold in these stems that are sticking out of the main plant. Pretty cool looking. Okay, get back to work. That makes it pop. Dry for a minute. Okay, that's what we've got so far. This is too big. Hmm. No, not enough control. Maybe. No, I don't like that form. Let's try another. Okay, I think that's enough. Hello, darling. It is when I record on the phone. Only since Christmas, because the recordings I made on the phone before were not problematic. So no, I don't understand it. Did I sound mechanical? I'm signing things 2026 now. It's a habit one must form. Like setting the clock ahead a day before you need to pay attention to that. Sticky. That's annoying. That's how sticky it is. Gilded edges. When I first started buying tarot cards, they used to be gilded edges. It was not that uncommon. Now You don't see it very often. Now, I had one deck. God, do I still have it? I might have retired it or broken it up. I donated some cards from one of my decks. Oh, that was from the Aquarian deck. I donated them for an atheist's auction, raising money for Doctors Without Borders. I had a deck. It was gilded with silver. I think it was gilded with steel. I couldn't. Oh, well, also it was cut on the wrong bias of the paper. The paper does have a bias, and it bends one way easily and not so easily another way. Well, they did it so it was like impossible to shuffle those cards by bending them back a little bit. It was ridiculous. At first look, it was like, oh, that was pretty. Look how silvery the edges are. Yep. Where did I just put that? Yeah, let's go with the pink. Oh, then maybe some contrast. We've got that gold in the green. That looks pretty cool. Let's go ahead and make it a little bit golder. Are you back, grandson? Drinking tea makes you feel better about eating crap. Oh, tea instead of coffee? It is gentler. And if you can do oolong tea when you eat a meal with garlic, you can also be helping your body go anti-cancer. I'm telling you the truth. You know, they're always looking to see what natural stuff does under different circumstances. And this tea guy explained all the chemistry involved, like all the different ways they were trying to find out, well, what makes tea work? What makes it so good against this? Or is it good for that at all? Or is it just mythology and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, tests concluded that oolong tea was the most medicinal of the green teas, or well, it's all one plant. The I forget what it's called, something sinensis, Camellia sinensis. They're all the same plant, just different things done to them after they're picked. Oolong is pretty early along the treatments that they do. So it's like one of the third things, one of the third stages of the tea. In any case, when you have a oolong tea after or with garlic, it creates some kind of a molecule chain or whatever, and whatever it does, it's like becomes super potent against cancer or against certain kinds of things that cause cancer. I have to go and look at it again. It was when they start talking math, my brain switches off. So I know I missed the math, but the bottom line was garlic and oolong tea are good medicine. A detox from the crap. Do you drink it without anything in it? In which case it is a bit of a detox. The best detox is water. Water is the universal solvent, and it's detox because it goes through your system without your system having a strain to clean it. So if you just drink a lot of extra water, not a lot, like, you don't want water intoxication. People die from that. You don't want to wash out your electrolytes. But if you have 2 glasses of water, it won't hydrate you. It's going to go right through you. But it's going to clean your kidneys and liver. So it's a good thing to do after you've had coffee. Get the stuff out of coffee that's not caffeine, but still not so great for you. Well, if you don't know your plants, you will end up vitamin deficient. But plants do have plenty of protein. The trick to getting by eating a lot more plants than animal protein is you have to mix them up. Also, you have to see what substitutes or additions you can use, like nutritional yeast. I actually have a bottle of it. I haven't used it yet. Only reason I bought it was because I got a recipe book from my son that has a cake recipe that calls for nutritional yeast. And then I found something else online that looked really good. Nutritional yeast. I still haven't made those recipes, so I haven't tried it. But it's a mixing of all of your stuff. Like when they say eat the rainbow, they mean mix it up. So yeah, today you may have an abundance of red vegetables, but tomorrow you might need more yellow or green. So when you mix them all up and you make sure you include legumes, you will get more complete protein sources. Black beans. Black beans by themselves are perfect. So you can do black beans, but if you ate them every day, you'd get sick of them. So it's a matter of just mixing things up. Peas. Peas are a very important legume. Peanuts, no relation. Underground nut. Groundnuts. So there's lots of good stuff out there. In fact, one of the problems that we have in agriculture is creating agriculture to match the machinery for processing it. That's how we ended up with such a limited and crappy diet. Inferior planting because they have machines. One of the problems with using machines on your land is all that heavy machinery compresses the lower soil layers, and basically it kills everything in there. You lose all the oxygen in there. Things go stagnant in there. Things can't live in that. And that's why they need more and more fertilizer. You don't need to fertilize. You don't need to use artificial fertilizers in most cases. If you know what you're doing, you create your compost pile. That is your fertilizer. Even compost tea. They make tea bags, literally, these big tea bags to make 5 gallons of compost tea that you can water with. like once a week or once a month. It depends on what you're growing. Some stuff does not like a lot of fertilizer. But one of the cool things about having a more natural garden that's going to produce lush amounts of food, you don't have to keep them all in rows. You can have areas like certain plants do not like to grow next to each other, like fennel and caraway, dill, cilantro. They are not friendly to other plants. They need their own spot away from each other. And the good thing about mixing things up like that too is if there was going to be a crop failure, you're not going to lose all of your crop, because one thing that attacks one plant is not going to attack the plants around it. So the more you mix things up, and you think of your food garden also as just a garden, and you landscape with it, you can go out in your yard and pick herbs that are growing seemingly wild, but you know where they are and you know what they are, and you have a gorgeous display of 6 or 7 herbs that are growing now in amazingly lush bushes. You should see what happens with rosemary. I've got a little tree, but rosemary naturally, my little tree is from a little 6-inch stick. My rosemary was like this. It was like a little tree, and it only gets so high. And it also puts out really pretty little flowers every summer. Well, this one doesn't. I haven't had it that long. There's so much wonder in the garden. And really, when they started making it too expensive to live, people had to leave the farm. They had to go somewhere else to find jobs. But it's all about the industrialization. So there's a lot of plants that you don't see, not because they weren't excellent or even better than what we've got, but because they weren't easy to plant or harvest. I was watching a video on, oh, I forget the name of the plant, King Henry. Well, that happens to be a plant. It's chia seeds, basically. Chinopium. It has roots that go 3 feet down, and it spreads by root. So once it's in your garden, unless you have a lot of other stuff planted with it to help prevent sunlight from hitting the roots, the area, there's tricks. It's going to keep popping up. But because it's such an excellent food source, and you don't have to make any effort, once it is going around, it just keeps going. And what you end up doing is just pulling a bunch of it to throw into your compost pile. Dry it out, chop it up, and it becomes nutrients for the next season or two. The better stuff you put in the soil, the better the produce is going to be for you. What do you think is happening to us? Why do you think there's so many diseases? We can't point to just one thing, because a lot of it is mental. We've gotten more and more depressed, though, with crappier and crappier diets. Our bodies are meant to thrive, and if we supply it with better quality stuff, then we're going to do better. You know, when I moved in here, I was on Prilosec because I had GERD, acid reflux, and always on fire. Well, I started hearing like people telling me that they were on that stuff for 20 plus years. Oh, that's fine. I take one of those and I'm fine. It's like, how long have you been taking it? Because it says 2 weeks. And if you need to be taking it more than 2 weeks, you need a doctor to tell you to take it more than 2 weeks. And my doctor did. But it's like, well, when I'm done with the 2 weeks, just keep going. You're on it now. It's like, why am I on it? Why am I suppressing my body's proton pump? I'm using a proton pump inhibitor. Is that really a good thing? And I decided it wasn't. And I started looking into it. It's like, wow, that also blocks some absorption of vitamins. So maybe this is not a good idea. I can't afford to lose any vitamins. So I was determined to change my diet or sleeping or whatever it took to get off that stuff. So I occasionally do have, it gets a little warm, but nothing like it used to be. I changed my diet. I changed the order in which I ate my food. Boy, did that change things for the better. Like lifetime issues down there disappeared within 2 weeks. Actually, within less than 2 weeks. I just changed the order in which I was eating food. So I eat my veg first, then I eat my protein, and then if I feel like it, if I'm still hungry, I'll eat carbs. I don't eat carbs after or with every meal, but it just depends. Like, you're getting carbs anyway when you eat a vegetable. You're getting carbs in everything, pretty much. It's just not, well, you're not going to, I don't know how much you get in carbs in a steak, but we do need some carbs, obviously, for faster sugar access, I guess. Okay, I went purple. That's mauve, isn't it? That's pretty, but I think we're going to go get a little more purple. So rumor has it a storm is coming in. There's going to be some kind of a bomb cyclone. Not here. But I think some of that's going to head over this way. Oh, let me show you how it came out. You missed it. That's the back with its very delicate lace-like coating of maple syrup. And then pretty. The black is as much for just show than anything. And we've got the I said this is maple syrup and plants. If you can grow sesame seed in your climate, of course what you're going to learn is harvesting, how to preserve the food that you grow. That's of paramount importance because you don't grow things all year long. And again, I'm not sure about your climate. Do you get snow? What zone are you in? We have planting zones globally that tell you the temperatures that plants. So when you buy a plant or start it up, you want to look around and see what is thriving without the help of humans. And then see if it's something edible. You may already have all kinds of stuff growing in your yard at the grandma's house. If you do something, if you plant something that's already thriving naturally, you've got a winner. You're not going to have to work constantly to make that plant thrive. It's going to be a matter of learning its harvest times, what care it needs, what you can do to eat it, what you have to do to eat it. Some things require some processing, some you can eat right in the field. You need to know the difference because not knowing and just randomly tasting things like my second husband did is a good way to poison yourself or end up with a mouthful of nasty. So he was sometimes like a 2-year-old picking things up and licking them like a dog. Actually, like a 2-year-old, like rocks. When he wanted to see what the rock looked like or a fossil looked like, and we were out in the desert, he didn't use the canteen of water. It's like, are you fucking crazy? Do you know what animal probably pissed on that sand right there? Okay, Charlie. Left, right, left, right, center. Before I go ahead and make my little purple flowers. We rarely get snow except in Sierra, our highest mountain range. Okay, and the farm is not up there. Now you might find after a few months of actually working the land as if you're going to live on it, that it's not your cup of tea. That it is something that you can enjoy as a hobby maybe, or just knowing how to do it will make you feel more secure in the world. Believe me, knowing that I can forage, that I can recognize food out in the middle of nowhere makes me feel a little bit more secure than not knowing what's edible and what isn't. Not there's a whole lot in these disturbed areas because buildings went up, but there's still lots of woods in my state. And if I had to, I could slowly make my way to an area of woods where I could find things to eat. Ah, okay. Well, you need to learn all those things because if it's going to be snow, there are cold weather plants that will produce unless it's going to be buried under a foot of snow for a month. If it's occasional snow, there are a lot of plants that like cold. Broccoli, cabbage, they love the cold. They get sweeter with the cold. Peas love the chill, not freezing, but they like it cool, and what they don't like is getting damped off. They don't like wet. It was a heartbreaker for me down south trying to grow sweet peas or Chinese, the sugar peas. Sugar peas were great, but they damped off too easily in the heat and moisture, the humidity of the south. Oh, you're going to love this one, Charlie. This is so you. You have the power to make a positive impact. Well, I guess this backward, you won't be able to see it, but trust me, that's what it says. You have the power to make a positive impact. You do. Well, knowing what zone it's in, agricultural zone, but just learning. I mean, while we have access to the computer, boy, you could probably come up with amazing lists. If I had access and I was still on the farm, yeah, things would have been different. Things would be different now. But to know the power of composting, that's why composting is so heavily mentioned in my first book. I saw the farmers, now this is after the old man died and his idiot sons took over. They knew what they were doing to a certain degree, but then they were taking lazy ways out, but then finally someone convinced them to go back to a natural thing, using compost. But what they ended up doing was buying a bunch of manure, that the manure had been slightly seasoned. Manure is great, but it's got to go a full, like, at least 2 or 3 seasons of just sitting there in the weather. It needs to drain of all its really high acidic urine, all the stuff that needs to break down, all the whatever they ate that's got to break down. But when it's ready, meaning it smells earthy but nothing else. Well, anyway, these guys got 1 truckload of that for 40 freaking acres, and they did not know how to spread it because they were idiots. And they ended up dumping it in a small area, relatively small, mind you. I'm talking a lot of acreage here. So imagine a farm field, you know how wide a row is for corn? So probably they covered about 10 rows. 10 rows, and Yeah, it wasn't a very big area. I mean, I could see it from my back deck where they put all this brown on top of the spring greens that were just starting to come up, the old corn that was hatching, stuff like that from the season, from the previous summer. Well, they screwed up. They they didn't spread it right. They didn't dig it in. It just sat on top of the ground, and a lot of stuff just couldn't make it. It was just too heavy and acidic. It's not soil to grow in. It is supposed to, inoculate the soil. It makes it stronger against pests and stuff, while it's giving it lots of electrolytes to work with, lots of nutrients. Well, 3 years after their screw up, it was still producing amazing plants right there. I mean, you could see it. You could see it from afar. Everything that was planted, no matter what it was, on top of that 10 rows worth of composted cow manure or horse manure, it was still going strong. It outdid everything else in the field, and he was using chemical fertilizers on the rest of the field. He wasted his time and money using that. The composted stuff was once every 3 years of a job, and it was basically free. People will pay you to take it away. All right, if you're raising even 2 horses, you have more shit than you will know what to do with. I know because I lived with horse farms across the street, and they were lovely people, but there was a never-ending supply of piles of reeking, ugh. I mean, it's so sharp and pungent when it's fresh. But then my friend Madeline would just shovel it all out and make new piles, and every year you'd see the pile getting smaller until finally it was the right color and texture, and then it could be spread in the field. But at that time, they couldn't wait for you to just come and take it, make room for the next pile that they had, because the horses still were shitting every day. So those barns had to be scraped out every day, shoveled out, fresh straw put in. A lot of work having an animal, a lot of work. I would not want a big horse unless I could pay for somebody to do all of that, and brushing them, cleaning them, walking them, running them, whatever. Yeah, training them. No, I'm just not a horse person, and I can't ride them because of my back. But I mean, they're beautiful animals. But boy, oh boy, what a bunch of work. They were not beasts of burden. My friend just was totally in love with horses. We had a little problem down south, though. People would move down there or take a vacation in the Carolinas, and they'd get all excited and they'd buy a horse. And they would play in their rental or their summer home with the horse, and then they would move back to the city, leaving their horses or horse in somebody else's stable to take care of until the following summer. And of course, that wasn't free. They had to pay for the food and board, because someone else had to do all of that, what I just described in owning a horse. The problem was that a lot of those people just plain split. They dumped the horses on them, which was heartbreaking, because these people, the whole reason they were taking in other people's horses was so they could afford their own horse. And then they suddenly found themselves having to feed and take care of 2 horses or 3 horses, and yeah, going broke. Now, responsible animal owners, they don't do that. But the rich are not responsible animal owners. They're not responsible for anything. They, of course, there's exceptions, but the people I'm referring to are the people who take vacations and think they're better than everybody else. because they can afford a vacation. And to just buy a horse on a whim. Oh, let's buy a horse. It'll be so great for the kids. Westerly, Rhode Island, and Misquamicut is a beach community that had the same problem, only with dogs. Their problem got so out of hand because they would stay the summer in these little cottages and they would adopt a puppy. At the end of the summer, they would abandon the puppy. Or just leave it at the beach with nobody to feed it or take care of it. Like, oh yeah, well, they'll find somebody else. Like, what is wrong with you people? There was a $1,000 reward back then for information leading to the arrest of anybody who abandoned an animal down at the beach. They had to go and hunt them because they formed a feral pack of dogs looking for food. And there were all kinds of dogs. They just ganged up together. So yeah, humans can really be shit. So anyway, now who has the kitty that y'all rescued? Is that at your parents' house? Is it where you are now with your dog? Or is kitty cat up with your grandma? Which do I want to use? Oh, let's give that a shot. What is kitty cat's name? I'm a cat person. Actually, I'm a cat and dog person now, but when I was your age, I was pretty much strictly a cat person. Well, she was a rescue from, she had a broken leg and everything, right? Minette. Adorable. Thank you for the pictures. Thank you very much. Pizza looks amazing. Oh yeah, well I'm sure she did. I mean, y'all took her to the vet. So, and she was very young, so good chance of a good heal. No, if she's a young cat, that's normal. They do a lot of that kind of sideways stuff. Watch some cat videos when they do all kinds of stuff. I've seen cats, not many, that stand on their front legs to pee. I've seen dogs do that. Walk down the street. They don't want to get pee on themselves, I guess, and they lift their entire back end up, and that's pretty funny. What color is that? Oh, too dark. I don't want to see that. Aloha. You can't do yellow watermelons? Why? Too many what? Bugs? Well, they shouldn't be attacking a yellow watermelon any more than a red one. It's not genetically that different. I mean, yellow watermelons are a natural phenomenon. They're not just hybrid. Yeah, melons are heavy, and it's not like those sweet potatoes I sent you where they can hang and grow from the root in a vertical manner. Watermelons are too heavy to suspend that way unless, yeah, now that one, they're just too heavy. To grow a good melon, it's still going to be heavy. It's all water. So even a cantaloupe, you know, that can weigh in when you think about the weight on a vine. Do they? I wonder why. What, are slugs the bigger problem? I saw another way of dealing with slugs that's non-toxic, by the way, and I don't know if I sent that video to you or not. It's basically making a slug trap, snail trap. It was for snails. I've never grown a yellow melon. Matter of fact, I did grow watermelon. Those are the ones that fermented in my living room and were cracking and whistling. It was an interesting experience. What happens to a watermelon after you picked it and you don't cool it? It ferments. It must, I guess. So when do they go after it? The flower part, right from the start, or after the fruit starts forming? Like what stage of development have you been attacked? Because I know you were how excited you were in the beginning of the year to get the seeds. I could not tell a difference when I tasted them. Yellow is more unusual, though. We don't get that often in the grocery stores. I think one of my favorites is cassava. That is such a gorgeous, sweet, tender flesh. And there was one other that's kind of like it, another gigantic, weird-looking yellow and green husk. I'll have to look it up. Now, I haven't grown melons since the early 90s, or the mid 90s. They go for the leaves. Okay. Um, the flea beetles. Do you have flea beetles? Little teeny black ones, shiny, round. They jump. They kind of pop, and they're hard to catch. Surprisingly easy to kill, though. And you can catch them the same way you do white flies on those little sticky things. But if they're going for the leaves, you might be able to do something like dust them with diatomaceous earth, which won't prevent them from breathing, but it will prevent, well, it'll kill anything that tries to eat through it. Okay, are there holes all over it that turning your leaves into lace? Or are they coming from the outside edges? You can often identify what your pest is by its eating pattern. See, I used to have a problem with eggplant because I was growing the traditional Black Beauty eggplant, beautiful dark purple ones, you know, eggplant shaped. I switched to Japanese eggplant. I like that better, but I just discovered that it's still in the same family because it's an eggplant. You can also get Easter egg, the white eggplant. That's also good, but for all the effort of growing eggplant, I just go with the longer one and get it more out of the plant. But flea beetles love the hell out of the leaves of those plants. And I was always impatient because you have to wait until the soil reaches a certain temperature before you can put those in the ground. So I'd wait and wait and wait and couldn't wait, get them in the ground. If I had just delayed by 2 weeks, I would have missed the first explosion of the beetles, and then it would have been an easy matter. They don't hurt the plant so much. If they eat enough of the leaves, then of course your plant won't get the energy it needs to absorb nutrients. But you can have an amazing amount of damage to the leaves and still get good fruit from it. So next time you see leaf damage and you don't know what's causing it, take a picture and see if AI can match it up to what kind of bugs do that. And you might find exactly what it is, and voila. Broccoli. Broccoli gets these little bugs in them in the summer, but broccoli does better in cold. So if you look at it as more of a fall crop instead of an early spring crop like most people do, plant it first thing in spring, don't do it. Plant it later in the season. You'll still get your harvest, but it'll be after the worst of the problems have already done their seasonal thing and are gone. They have their cycles too. So when you spot them, you go, ah, just like a flea. You spot fleas. Fleas have a 30-day egg cycle. They lay their eggs and 30 days later there's a hatching. So when you're on top of that, you know, like, all right, I gotta be ready for this happening again in 30 days, because if I don't find them all and poison them, then they're gonna be hatching. And unfortunately, you cannot use boric acid in your garden. That is not going to be good for the plants. Yeah, we'll just write a note on that. I like how that came out. I think Gloria will enjoy that. See, I'm already working on spring. I'm getting really tired of doing the winter holiday stuff, even though I do like holidays. Oh, there's the other one. I'll go. This one's different. Oh, I need more of a cyclamen type of a thing. Ugh, but now I'm having a hot flash, so we're gonna wait. Fun with bodies. Ha! Just missed 444. So I sat down here at 3:33. We've been here for a little over an hour. Ugh. Okay, what did I leave off with before? Got that one. Oh yeah. An experiment. So, Maui, your day is just getting rockin'. Charlie, your day is coming to a close. And also in response to your letter, anytime, sweetie. So tomorrow's Monday. Tomorrow is my stepdad's birthday. Calling him will not take all day. He talks briefly. But he does speak in slow motion sometimes. Yes, I can have trees again, but these are not Christmas trees. Let's see, what do I think of this? It's like, why don't I just go back to doing mosaic? No, like I have not enough things to do. So tomorrow, I will be here at some point, I believe. I think. Tomorrow's Monday. Yes, I will be leaving the house for a short trip to pick up a couple things from the grocery store and dispensary. I discovered that if you don't eat your gummies fast enough, they go gummy. But now that it is cooling down, I'm hoping to be able to get some dark chocolate medicinal dark chocolate. I can tolerate that way better. Also, it doesn't get gummy. Yeah, I got these really delicious ones that are like nano. They go into your system in like 15, 20 minutes. I like that because you understand what's going to happen, you know, where usually with an edible you've got to wait sometimes up to 2 hours. I've got a slow metabolism now, so it takes a while for some things to hit. So I get the stuff that's supposed to hit fast. That way I know if I've had enough or I need another one. But I haven't needed that particular thing for a while, like over a month. And when I wanted one the other day and I opened the container up, even though I'd never opened the container before, it was like, oh, you all sat down at the bottom of the container and I have a feeling you're going to be squashy. It's like the sugar on the outside melted, so now I've got to like roll them around in sugar or something and revive them. Although I did enjoy gummy bears when I finally tried one. I also learned I like them better when they've been soaking overnight in vodka. So I don't do too much of that. Can you get gummies there, or is that not even allowed in your state? There was some big kerfuffle in the White House this week about putting weed under a different category. And they just about had to tackle him, telling him not to tweet what he was saying. No, don't do it, don't do it. We've got to go, like it takes 30 days to get ready for that kind of an announcement, but he is kind of addicted to the power of executive orders. So I don't know what actually happened, if anything went through or not, but I guess we'll find out soon. Because, see, there's a lot of Republicans who are invested in alcohol industries. And when people were able to get weed legally, the alcohol use dropped. Because people prefer not getting totally plastered. So they decided to mess around with who can have it and how much they can put in it. And they've been trying to shut down the hemp industry, because hemp is a huge industry. It's not just for edibles and medicine. It's huge for making textiles. So we'll see what happens. They're suing Trump and the administration for attacking their billion-dollar industry. It's like, does that say talking to a rich kid? The word TA something is, it looks like TAL. It's blocked by the heart in the chat, sorry. Yeah, they're just crazy. What they're talking to is a toddler. And a toddler who does not understand the consequences of actions. But I also predicted that, see, right now everybody wanted him to be their go-to man, So they get breaks in taxes, breaks in their businesses. But when you go nuts, or rather when your Alzheimer's is starting to take over and you can't think clearly anymore, you start getting impulsive and you start doing childlike things, and and he's already like that. He's a narcissist. So as his dementia gets worse, he's going to do more impulsive stuff, which is why I'm hoping they get him out of office before he decides to nuke a hurricane. They've already discussed that usually a president has access to security briefings after they leave office, and they already decided that Trump is too much of a security threat to allow him to get his hands on or hear anything about what's going on with the government once he's gone. It won't matter. The guy is gone anyway. So every day it just gets worse. I mean, we're watching it, the deterioration. If you just Google what he sounded like in 2020, just since 2020, it was obvious back in 2020 that the dementia had already begun, because I recognized it in my mother at the time that my family was in complete denial about it. Oh no, it's just this, it's just that. And then one sister, the one that voted for Kennedy, she insisted it's just the medicine she's taking. You get her off all those medicines and she'll be fine. It's like, it's not the medicines. Blood thinners and sugar pills do not do that. And it was a year before it got anybody to go down and see it for themselves. So I recognized this a long time ago in Trump. And it's a drag when they start living in their fantasy world and they can't tell the difference between what's television and what's reality. All right, tomorrow we are going to try gluing those on. I think what I'd like to do is make a little boat or something. And then put the trees in front of that. She's going to get a little sculpture in the mail. But with her eyes going, I know that the difference in how it feels will entertain her for an extra minute. So tomorrow is the 29th, tomorrow. What are you guys doing? Maui, since your day has just gotten to rock and roll, what are you doing the rest of the day? Gardening? Cooking? Charlie will be getting ready for his boudoir soon. Now, I'm out of envelopes to mail something this size, I think. I'm out of most of my envelopes. I ran through them for the holidays. And now I need to buy more. Good. Well, I will be back tomorrow. Now, my friend that's taking me out tomorrow, she suffers from depression, and when she is in depression, she doesn't get up until around noon. So I'm going to double check with her tonight to remind her, and buzz her earlier to make sure she is up, because I don't want to sit around all day waiting for a ride. And to get where I need to go would take 2 buses, which would be, I'd be out for 4 hours, just, yeah, pain in the ass. So I'm waiting for her, but whatever time that is, it's not going to be a long trip. But if it's, I don't want it cutting in the middle of the day, but I will be here at some point tomorrow. I want to finish this And when I'm out, I will be able to also pick up some envelopes. And hopefully I can find some big enough for this size. Look, oh my God, I'm so white. I look like the zombies are attacking. That's because there's no contrast in the room. It's all dark now, except for this lamp. This is my only, well, it's my only work lamp. So I'm gonna go. It's too dark. It's silly to sit here looking like Vampira with terrible hair. I'll be back tomorrow. Charlie. Here they are. It's time for sweet dreams, my dear. Okay. Sweet dreams be yours, dear, if dreams there be. I'll be back tomorrow, most probably. I hope I can count on me. I'll be here at some point. I'll also be starting to clear off the desk. I now have enough to mail to the people I'm mailing to and give myself a couple of days off of painting and start rearranging the studio so we can get back to work on my bigger acrylic projects. So let me say aloha. And sweet dreams. I have limited emotes. Okay, darlings. I'll see you tomorrow. You have a good night. Maui, you have a great day. And